Welcome to the Six for Sixers podcast. I'm your host, Creek, and I have no bag on my head. And I am super proud of the team tonight. Super proud of what we did tonight on the floor. And I am back. I took a little load management, took a couple games off. Well, not totally off, but I watched the second half. I watched the first half, of our last game against Charlotte, and took a little trip, so I was not able to um, broadcast on for 2 games straight. But I'm back, and I figure, hey, if Tobias Harris can take games, Joel Embiid can take games, Rocco, Batum, Lowry, all those guys have taken some load management games. Figure, why can't I? So I took a couple games off, but I'm back, and I'm glad I came back on this game. Great game to recap on. Sixers defeat the Miami Heat 98-91. Very important game because every game at this juncture of the season counts. Also because we are like, we're hitting rock bottom a little bit without Joel Embiid. So every game that we can get down the stretch really matters. Sixers were able to get a big one today because Miami was in sixth place. And with our win, we now take over sixth place. And, who knows? It's still a lot of season to go. But like I said, every win is a good win. So we'll take the one against Charlotte. We'll take the one against Miami. This puts us on a 2-game win streak. And this was a really quality win. Miami is a very well-coached team. Regardless, they obviously down Jimmy Butler, but they still have Terry Rozier, and they have some really great role players. Bam Adebayo, Jaquez, the rookie, and they have Duncan Robinson. Duncan actually went out early with some back issues, but they have a really solid team. So I think that was a very quality win. It wasn't like a game like a Charlotte where they were just under-equipped and weren't equipped to beat us. They were, and they showed signs of almost coming close. So let's get into the wrap-up. Six for Sixers podcast. What we do is we take the six most important points that we see that contributing factors to a win or loss, and we just kind of expound on those factors. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all of those things just keep us going. Even if you comment, whatever you want to comment, it helps us inspire us to keep the podcast going. Also, join the Facebook page, the Six for Sixers, on Facebook. So let's get into it. 6 points. My point number one is Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry, wow, man, he's really everything. Like when the Sixers were up against the trade deadline, I was clamoring for them to get a guard that take the pressure off of Tyrese Maxey having to play point guard, bring the ball up the floor. I didn't really feel that Patrick Beverley did that. I like Pat Bev's energy, but did not ever view him as a true point guard. And Kyle Lowry, I never really thought about him. We think about Brogdon, and we were thinking about Rozier, but never thought about Kyle Lowry. I guess because of his limited minutes in Miami, we thought maybe he was too old and just didn't have a lot in the tank. But he proved us wrong. Tonight was one of those nights, 35 minutes on the floor, which are just certified starter minutes. He had 16 points, 3 for 5 from 3. So that's 60%. And 6 for 12 overall field goal, 50% from the field. And moreover, it's not really Rozier's. Not really Lowry's points that are the main factor. The main factor is, one, he takes the pressure off of Tyrese having to bring the ball up the floor and make point guard like decisions. Two, Kyle Lowry is a true point guard, unlike Maxey, who to me is more of like a 2 guard. who plays well off ball and also can make plays with the ball in his hands. A great shooter, more to me like better with the ball not in his hands primarily. And also Lowry makes those really, really good decisions down the stretch. And he hit a couple big shots there to help put the Heat away. And he's poised. He never loses his cool. And he's just very collected floor general. Toward the end of the game tonight really proved to be a difference maker. So he gets my point number one. He didn't score a ton of points, but we don't really need him to. Really, what he did tonight was more than enough point-wise, but it's just more of his decision-making. And he showed a little heart tumbling into the stands there, going trying to track down that loose ball. He got a lot left in the tank, and he's a Philly guy anyway. So shout out to Lowry. Great game tonight. Point number two, defense. I thought the defense, they had a little letdown there in the fourth quarter and allowed Terry Rozier and some of the guys to kind of get back in the game. But that's to be expected. Team basketball is a game of runs, so you don't expect the team to just stay down the whole time. You expect them to actually to make a run at it. Okay, so they made a run, and that's what happens in basketball. But I did feel like the defense was pretty solid in the first half. I felt that the defense was scrappy is a good word for it. They had their hands in the passing lanes, really disrupting what Miami was trying to do. And it really showed and proved because we took a really big lead there in the third quarter and didn't let up until the fourth quarter. It started to catch up with us a little bit. But I think overall defensive effort was pretty good. The team recorded probably a season high if we look it up, but it was 13 blocks total. Oubre had 5 blocks. Reed and Bamba both had 2 blocks. So great game defensively. Had a little letdown, but it just showed what we actually can do even without Joel Embiid on the floor. So good game, and then good rim protection by Mo Bamba and Reed, which they've been criticized all season for not protecting the rim, and I think that they did a fairly good job tonight. Number 3, we call him Posterize, Kelly Oubre Jr. Kelly Posterize Oubre Jr. He's really coming on to his own, and Tobias Harris's absence. He's proven it's been a debate on who should be a starter or who should the Sixers retain next season. Probably Oubre at a lower price tag than Harris, but Harris offering the veteran presence and all the intangibles and the threat of that we call him the Swiss Army knife can do a lot. But Oubre's coming into his own. He's not just a one-dimensional player. He goes to the rim aggressively. He can pull up and shoot the three-pointer. I think that the biggest knock on Oubre is going to be his defensive effort. But, I mean, man, when he goes to the basket, he goes with a reckless abandonment. He's not afraid. He flexes on them. And I like that. So that's kind of what we need in the Philly style of play. We need a bruiser, a guy who's not afraid to go to the basket. And he's really bringing it on tonight. 22 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks, complete all-around game. And he really poured it on tonight. So great game, Kelly Oubre. That's my point number 3. Point number 4, Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese is learning how to take over a game and really lead the team. He led us tonight. Not just in his points. I mean, points are great. We look for him to lead in points, but he opened things up for everybody else, I felt, by being aggressive, going to the basket. He, Lowry got a lot of open looks. Hield got a lot of open looks at Oubre as well, and I felt like Maxey penetrating got them some of those open looks. And his point scoring effort was nothing to sneeze at, obviously. Hitting, going for 30 points. Shooting, he wasn't stellar from 3 for 10 from 3. But still, it's more about the aggression. It's more about drawing in the defense, kicking, and he's learning those things. Those are the things that we said throughout the season we wanted to see him do, is penetrating and dishing. And he's been doing that. He hasn't been just going to the basket with tunnel vision. He's been getting the guys a lot of open shots. So 30 points is great. We actually look for him to score at 25 to 30 a game, especially with Embiid out. It was timely tonight, but moreover, just his aggressive nature going to the basket has paid dividends huge for the team. So great game, Tyrese Maxey. Point number 5 is an unlikely point, but I'm saying Mo Bamba was very good tonight in his role. He's not going to be scoring 20, 30 points, but in his role is to rim protect. His role is to set picks. His role is to get some rebounds. And I think he did that pretty well. Now, we can be ultra critical and say he doesn't move his feet well, but Bamba is still playing with some injury. I believe he's still playing with some form of knee injuries, playing through it. And it's evident in his movement, but he's still, 2 blocks tonight. He had a pretty complete all-around game, and he only played in 19 minutes. So he was pretty well protecting the rim. He hit a couple big 3-pointers, which you don't expect from him. I think he was 2 for 3 from 3-point range. So great effort overall by Bamba, and even Reed, for that matter, played with a lot of heart. And obviously, we'll make some mistakes too, but he played well. Reed didn't score a ton, but he did have 8.8 rebounds, and he had 2 blocks as well. So a lot of heart and soul. I call him Mo Reed because together they both count for Embiid's backup. So great game by Mo Reed tonight. And the last point is I'm gonna give it to Nick Nurse. Credit to Nick Nurse for coaching the team throughout all of this adversity. He had the guys really playing tonight. He's making the right decisions on the rotations, who to play for which team. And then tonight as well, he had a really fast Miami team and small. Miami's not a very big team. I think Bam, they got Bryant now. He's a pretty formidable big. But before they just had Bam, they played more of a up-tempo, small type of basketball, a lot of 3-point shots and so forth. But I think Nick Nurse did a great job of matching that tonight by bringing Lowry, Hield, Maxey, Oubre, and even played a little small ball tonight with Batum. Looked like he was playing the center spot. So shout out to Nick Nurse for adjusting. Miami is nothing to sneeze at. When you have Eric Spoelstra, who is, a future Hall of Fame coach, and he's won multiple championships. He's one of the best in the game coaching. So Nurse going up against him, Miami is always ready to play. So great game by Nurse. Great game all around by the team. This was a great win. One that we so much needed. One that you can't say, because, Charlotte is terrible and this team is bad, that's why we won. We really went out and took this one. So look forward to the next game. And I'm back off load management, so I'll be here for a minute. This is the 6 for Sixers podcast. I am your host, Creek. Remember, like, share, subscribe, comment, all of those things. Join the Facebook page as well. And we appreciate everybody who watches and listens to the podcast. I will see you on the next one. Maybe we'll go live on Facebook. All right, 6 for Sixers, your brother Creek. I am out. Play the song. Everybody clap your hands for the Philadelphia 76ers. Woo!